discussion. I put it in the link below, and it's honestly just a really disturbing portrait of his very with me or against me mentality. I even foreshadowed in the video the idea that he would boot me from TYT one day.
She did foreshadow it, guys. We are back with Francesca Fiorentini breaking down what's going on at TYT, what happened to her, the failure of TYT, the decline of TYT, the destruction, the Anna Kasparian lies, the Cenk Uygur authoritarianism, and the fake grifting that goes on over at TYT. And then we're going to see a couple of responses to this, just a little bit. We'll go into the majority report, kind of had a little bit to say about this. So let's just go ahead and start playing this as we speak.
And he did. It was also staggering how much he was shadowboxing with me as some kind of stand-in for the max left that has lost their minds. In that video, he laughed at me for suggesting that Trump would create detention camps. After the discussion in December, TYT main show never asked me back on. And then when I made a harmless little video pointing out that yes, there are detention camps, that seemed to be one of the final straws. Personally, Cenk and I were never close. In 2022, I think, we went out to lunch and he asked me if I wanted to work with TYT full-time. And it gave me pause. Look, I work with a number of outlets. I am a stand-up comedian. I value my free time, and I have my own show. I wanted time to do those things, but also I pay through the nose for things like healthcare, and a little bit of job stability would be amazing. I also know how hard the company works people who work there, and I know how it treated the union drive. I also know how much they deny full-time employees bonuses every year, even when they're delivering millions of views. I know that they're kind of cheap, and Cenk usually doesn't like it when people negotiate with him. So I said, sure, I want to work for TYT full-time, but it depends on the offer, which, by the way, you should always ask for an offer before you pledge loyalty to anyone or any company. An offer never came because, in my view, loyalty wasn't a given. All this to say, I'm not sad to leave TYT behind, especially now, with, of course, the exception of the damage report with John Iadarola, who I care about and I think is so talented. But we live in a time of right-wing monsters, authoritarians, and yes, fascists. And
John Iadarola is really the only one really holding on there. So it's only about a second before the damage report is off of TYT.
anyone capitulating to their framework about human rights, about policing, around militarism, is not serious about liberation or democracy. Please, never watch anyone who can't admit when they're wrong. Never watch anyone who tells you that their strategy is right and that they are the way, the truth, the light. Never listen to anyone who does.
I like that she said the way, the truth, and the light. Christ is the way, the truth, and the light. And it's very funny that she said that because that's like from a verse from the Bible. It is really odd. And there's like John 14. I don't know the verse exactly. It's in the book of John. Wow.
Doesn't have a sense of humor when they are acting like a bitch. I am one person with a scrappy YouTube channel who pieces together my annual living. I have a fraction of the following of TYT, which is $1 million media company. The idea that they choose to focus on me or other leftist creators in their field is honestly really disheartening and very revealing. Look, I wish the best for the people of TYT, but as for the main hosts, I kind of just wish them peace, because it's been a long, long road with many skeletons in many closets, and honestly, I don't think they know where that road is going. And it's going to be really sad when they respond to this video or try to smear me as if there weren't so many other pressing things to talk about. But I just had to get it off my chest, explain to you what's going on, and tell you that I am the host of the Bitchuation Room podcast and also America Unhinged on Zateo. And you can also catch me doing live comedy, hopefully in a city near you.
She's going to get a lot more followers. This is what happened with Candace Owens. We already know it. So why don't we just head right into, I think what I'll do is, let me just play this one.
Move further to the right. And Francesca knew that it was likely that, when she decided to speak her mind a bit, that tie would be severed. But she's doing great work over at Zateo. People should check out the Bituation Room. And I guess to put a pin in it here, this was just from, when was this? Like a few months ago, January. The way that the show seems to be downplaying the Trump administration, just a few seconds of this, because it was disproving within weeks that what the Trump administration is actually doing.
You can be against that practice, but Donald Trump.
Yeah, I'll start with that there.
I know that Francesca Fiorentini is currently attacking you about this as if Donald Trump is unique. He's novel compared to past presidents, certainly a special kind of evil that we've never seen before. In her mind, these are the gulags that she was warning about. But in fact, this has been a longstanding practice. You can be against that practice, but Donald Trump isn't doing anything new here.
I'm going to pause it because, see, the problem with Anna is, again, I'm not trying to rag on her, but there's a time and a place for everything. And she made it clear. The thing about when things bubble up to the surface like this is that she's been harboring some sort of, I guess the word is resentment for a while about Francesca Fiorentini. Francesca Fiorentini was going on Piers Morgan's show a lot. And now Anna's going on there, but she was invited on there before Anna. So there's a lot going on there. There's a dynamic going on there. I'm not here to tell you. It's just a dynamic that was going on there. And I knew this was coming. I think that we all knew it was coming. Francesca knew it was coming. I knew this was coming, but I do think that it comes from Anna herself, because when she cut off Cenk and said, "Oh, but Fran's attacking you," and it said, not this, it was another clip like this. Cenk kind of just put his head down a little bit, like, here we go. She always brings it right to the forefront, and I mean, it's good for views. I mean, we clip it, but this isn't really what you want to do.
Okay, I think she was specifically talking about Guantanamo. Now, A, progressive have been railing against Guantanamo since day one. B, this practice is unique because we've never taken people who are one step on U.S. territory and put them down there in a sort of an extrajudicial state. So she's wrong on the merits, wrong on the facts, wrong on the analysis. And then also, let's just zoom out a little bit. I think it's pretty hard at this point, even now that we're a full 68 days into this administration, to not say that Donald Trump is uniquely authoritarian and bad for U.S. society.
Well, she was also mocking the idea that Project 2025 would be implemented prior to the election, which we were starting to become more critical of their coverage then because we thought they were doing harm. I mean, frankly, to downplay that prior to the election, given what we're seeing the effects of that now, is really inexcusable.
And to just stop it there, and I'll cover more of this as time goes on because there's so much more to cover. I don't think it's as much Project 2025, hear me out, as much as it's Project Esther with what we're seeing with the college campuses. They are 100. So I think that's what we're seeing more of. But whatever it is, Anna was very determined. She's been too hype making these decisions and acting like, oh, I know the base. I know the base. You don't know the base. You don't know what's going on. There's a serious civil war going on with MAGA right now. I myself, I used to be MAGA. I'm not MAGA anymore. Whatever this is, it's not MAGA. I am a Christian. I believe in America first, and MAGA does not. MAGA believes in Trump. It's all right. MAGA believes in Trump. And I don't believe in a person. And now I'm getting smeared and accused of being, a leftist, all the, agents, Qatar's paying me. What is happening, right? There's a serious reckoning coming to our country if we do not wake up and pay attention to it. But anyway, coming back to the situation about TYT, Cenk really made an unforced error, and I'm not going to stop saying it every time I end these videos.